Welcome to Chapter 6 of Digital Communication, Optimum Reception of Digital Signal. Module 1 covers baseband receiver, optimum receiver, and matched filter receiver. First topic is baseband receiver. Regenerating baseband signal from the received signal is the function of baseband receiver. Baseband transmission is transmission of ones and zeros without modulation. So pulses are used for transmission of ones and zero. So from the received baseband signal, regenerate the original ones and zero. That is a function of baseband receiver. So the receiver used for regenerating digital information from received baseband signal is known as baseband receiver. There are two systems used at the receiving side for making that decision. One is sampler, that is a switch. Switch is going to be closed at every TV second because digital informations are going to be transmitted at every TV second. So we want to regenerate data at every TV second only. So switch is going to be closed at every TV second. So at every TV second, whatever be the voltage given to the decision device, the decision device can make a decision like a 1 or 0. So I'm showing an example here. This is a transmitted signal 1, 0. Maybe this is a received signal. And for this received signal, what is a normal procedure is if it is going to make a decision, one sampling point should be selected. So I just selected the sampling point is 0.5 TB, then 1.5 TB. So 0.5 TB, the switch is going to be closed. Here we are getting some small positive voltage. So due to this small positive voltage, decision is 1. The reason is we transmitted positive voltage and negative voltage. Between positive voltage and negative voltage, decision boundary is equal to 0. So we are able to say any voltage received greater than 0 is close to 1. Any voltage received less than 0 is close to, maybe this is minus 1 voltage, close to minus 1. So minus 1 is representing 0. That is why the decision boundary is this plus 1 and minus 1. Take the mean, that is a 0 voltage. So any voltage greater than 0 is going to be taken as 1. Any voltage less than 0 is going to be taken as 0. Here the switch is closed at T is equal to 0.5 TB, got a positive voltage, so decision is 1. Maybe next again the switch is going to be closed after TB second. I just consider here the switch is closed. Unfortunately, at that particular time, you can see the amplitude is positive. So due to that positive voltage, output decision is again 1. So we are getting an error. So instead of making the decision like this, better result we will get if we can integrate this voltage from 0 to TB second. That is taking the total area. And once you are taking the total area, at the end of TB second, the voltage will be maximum. And based on that voltage, the decision device can make a decision. For that one, we need an integrator. Integrator before this switch, integrate, then end of TB second, the capacitor voltage will be maximum. That maximum voltage can be taken after closing the switch. Based on that voltage, decision can be made. So that I am showing here, from 0 to TB, integrated, end of TB second, capacitor voltage is maximum. That maximum voltage is going to be taken at the output of switch. It's a positive voltage, decision is 1. Immediately after that, the capacitor voltage should come back to 0. Then again, capacity charging, now it's a negative voltage. Even though here there is a small positive voltage, but when you're taking the area, it is negative only, negative voltage. So capacity charging in the negative direction. At the end of this bit interval, capacitor voltage is negative. Switch is going to be closed. We'll get a negative voltage, decision is 0. See the difference between these two. First case we got 1 bit error, second case we are not getting error. So with some additional system, we are able to reduce error. That actually we are studying in this chapter, That is the meaning of a optimum reception of digital signal. How the signal can be received with the minimum probability of error. With minimum probability of error. So the first one is also, there is a reception, second case also there is a reception, but due to the addition of this integrator, we can say the probability of error can be reduced. Or if you are able to say like this, probability of error can be minimized using some system. So that system is known as optimum receiver system. So that how to get that optimum receiver system, that is the topic we are going to study under this chapter. So topic 2, optimum filter receiver. So I am using an extra filter. The word used is filter, that is it will remove some noise or it will remove that error. That is why it is known as a filter. So with the addition of this filter, okay, we are able to get minimum probability of error. So then we are going to study more about this filter. So the received baseband signal, there is an optimum filter and the switch is going to be closed decision at the output side. So the same system only, but we are using an additional part, that is an optimum filter is used. The function of that optimum filter is to minimize probability of error, and the probability of error can be minimized if the system can maximize signal to noise ratio. Because later we will get an expression, probability of error depends on signal to noise ratio. If the signal to noise ratio can be increased, probability of error can be decreased. So if the system can make maximum signal to noise ratio, that system is known as optimum filter receiver. If the system can make minimum probability of error, that system is known as optimum filter receiver. So that's the definition of optimum receiver. Optimum receiver is a receiver which maximizes the signal to noise ratio. Second definition, optimum receiver is a receiver which minimizes the probability of error. Both are giving actually the same meaning. Maximum signal to noise ratio is equivalent to minimum probability of error. So with the help of that optimum filter, probability of error can be minimized or signal to noise ratio can be made maximum. Third definition, matched filter receiver. So instead of optimum filter, the block is used here, matched filter. There is only one difference. The difference is that input noise is considered as a white noise. In the previous case, there was no restriction. Any type of noise, the filter is always minimizing the probability of error. Here, if the input noise is only white, that optimum filter is known as matched filter. So it's a subset. Matched filter is a subset of optimum filter. Under any type of noise, optimum filter is always going to maximize signal to noise ratio and minimize probability of error. But matched filter will minimize probability of error if the input noise is only white. That is white, additive, white, Gaussian noise. So that is why the input noise is written S of t plus N of t, because white noise is an additive noise. And then there is a filter to minimize probability of error or to maximize signal to noise ratio. S0t plus N0t, switch is going to be closed. You will get that discrete time signal. Based on that discrete time signal, decision can be made. So it's written here again, minimum probability of error, maximum signal to noise ratio. But the major difference is the communication channel between source and destination is considered as additive, white, Gaussian noise channel. AWGN channel. Additive, white, Gaussian noise channel. This is a representation of additive, white, Gaussian noise channel. Input signal S of t, noise N of t. This is Gaussian noise. It's an additive noise, that is a plus sign. So the receiver input is always S of t plus N of t. So if you are considering our noise is white noise, we don't want to say it is an optimum filter, it is always matched filter. Remember, all matched filters are optimum filters, but all optimum filters are not matched filter. Matched filter is a subset only. Under matched filter, we are considering only one noise, that is additive, white, Gaussian noise. So it's more difficult to implement optimum filter compared to matched filter. When you are implementing matched filter, we just want to consider only one type of noise, that is additive, white, Gaussian noise. Fourth topic, signal to noise ratio output and transfer function of matched filter. Even though my heading is signal to noise ratio output and transfer function of matched filter, same derivation can be written for optimum filter also. Where the changes will come, I'll tell you that too. So output signal to noise ratio and transfer function matched filter are going to be derived here. Here the input signal is written as P of t plus N of t. Actually the input signal is S of t plus N of t, where S of t is the information signal and N of t is the noise signal. But instead of that one, it is written P of t. The reason I am showing here, that S of t may be S1 of t or S2 of t. S1 of t representing logic 1 signal and S2t representing logic 0 signal. So the combination of these two is known as S of t signal. That is actually showing here S of t. And I am showing that 2-3 examples here. This is S1t, that is a plus 2 voltage, S2t is equal to minus 2 voltage. Plus 2 voltage, minus 2 voltage, decision boundary is equal to 0. And surely you are able to say, if any noise voltage, if it is greater than 2 volt, this minus 2 will become positive and will get 1 bit error. And here another case, 5 volt and 3 volt noise, where will be the decision boundary? It will be 4 volt, because mean of these two, that's the decision boundary. This voltage is 3 volt and this is 5 volt. It's a unipolar format, and decision boundary will be 4. So any voltage greater than 4 is going to be taken as 1. Any voltage less than 4 will be taken as 0. So how much noise voltage is added to get an error? Only more than 1 volt, because more than 1 volt means 3 will become more than 4, so we'll get an error. Or less than minus 1, 5 will become 4 or less than 4. So it's only 1 volt noise is needed to get an error here. But here 2 volt, minimum 2 voltage is needed to get an error here. And the third example I am showing here, that is 10 and 6. 10 and 6, the decision boundary will be 8. Decision boundary 8. And again, how much noise should be added to get an error? 6 plus more than 2. That is, it will be then 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. That will be close to 10. So we'll get an error. So when you are comparing these two, you can say, for here, the difference is 4 volt. Here also difference is 4 volt. Due to that difference is equal to 4 volt, the same noise is needed to get an error. Same noise. Here actually we are transmitting higher voltage, that is 5 voltage and 3 voltage. But only 1 volt noise is needed to get an error. So these voltage are not an important one. The important one is the difference between S1 of t and S2 of t. If the difference is more, probability of error is less. Once we can increase the difference, here the difference is only 2 volt. But here the difference is 4 volt. Here also difference is 4 volt. So that is why performance of these two are same. And this is going to give more probability of error because the difference is only 2 volt. So probability of error will be less if the difference is more. That difference is defined as P of t. So P of t is S1t minus S2t. Because the difference is more, probability of error is less. So when you are calculating the probability of error of a receiver system, that S1t and S2 of t, these two voltages are not an important one. Important one is difference. If the difference is more, probability of error will be less. That is why for this particular analysis, we are writing P of t is the difference between S1t and S2t. Then output is S01t minus S02t, and this will be S01tb minus S02tb. That is P of t, P0t and P0tb. Otherwise, it's the same block diagram. Function of the matched filter is to minimize probability of error or maximize signal to noise ratio. Switch is going to be closed at every TB second for giving a discrete time signal to decision device. So decision device will make a decision at every TB second, either 1 or 0. So it is defined here. P of t is equal to S1t minus S2t, then P0t is equal to S01t minus S02t, and P0tb is equal to S01tb minus S02tb. First, I am taking only that portion, that is a matched filter. Input is P of t, output is P0t. Let the Fourier transform of P of t is P of f, and P0t Fourier transform is P0f. Then the relationship between input Fourier transform and output Fourier transform is output Fourier transform is equal to transfer function into input Fourier transform. So P0f is equal to h of f into P of f. Then I have taken the inverse Fourier transform of P0f. Fourier inverse of P0f is equal to, so inverse Fourier transform will be in time domain. That is P0TB is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity P0f e raised to j 2 pi f TB df. The reason I have written TB because I am writing here TB, that is why. If I am writing P0T, it will be T here. Here P0TB is written, that is a TB here. And here the result is P0f. But what is P0f? That is h of f into p of f. That is why integral h of f p of f e raised to j 2 pi f TB df. That is P0TB. Second part is match the filter, and input is considered as a noise because initially we have taken the input signal is p of t plus n of t, and then now we have taken that p of t and n of t separately. We are assuming that the system is a linear system, so due to the linearity it can be taken separately like this. So the input noise is white noise, that is n of t is a white noise, and output is n0t. And for average output noise power is equal to output noise variance, because for an additive white Gaussian noise mean m is equal to 0. Due to that reason the average power and variance both are same. Whenever m is equal to 0, mean square value and variance are same. That is why average output noise power is also written as output noise variance is equal to sigma 0 square is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity PST of input into transfer function square TF. So how we are getting that relation? I am showing here below this dotted line. It's not a part of this topic. So just for your information I have written like this. There is a system with input signal x of t, output signal y of t, and impulse response h of t. The relationship between these three are written here. Y of t is equal to x of t convolution h of t. Time domain convolution is equivalent to frequency domain multiplication. So y of f is equal to x of f into h of f. Then next step is take the square part. Modulus y of f square is equal to modulus x of f square into modulus hf square. That modulus y of square is written as output PSD, modulus x of square is written as input PSD, and this is modulus hf square. And then once you know the output PSD, the output power can be determined. Just integrate output PSD, that is output power. So final result is output power is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity output PSD into df. That is same as minus infinity to plus infinity input PSD into transfer function square df. Same result is written here. Sigma 0 square, that is output noise variance. Variance and power both are same in this case. So sigma 0 square is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity PST of white Gaussian noise is eta by 2. This we have studied under chapter 2, that is information theory and source coding. Eta by 2, that is a PSD of additive white Gaussian noise eta by 2. In some textbook it is written capital N, N0 by 2 also. So eta by 2 transfer function h of f modulus h of f square df. That is our equation number 2. So we got two equations. One equation is P0TV, second equation is sigma 0 square. This is a signal quantity and this is a noise quantity. So we want to go for a signal quantity divided by noise quantity for calculating signal to noise ratio. But this is a square quantity and this is not a square quantity. So this should be squared and divided by this. That is going to give signal to noise ratio, signal to noise power ratio. So I just repeat some of the important result here. The system is our matched filter. Input signal is P of t plus N of t. That P of t and N of t are taken separately here. Just assume that this system is a linear system. P of t Fourier transform is P of f. P0t Fourier transform P0f. And then output Fourier transform is equal to input Fourier transform into transfer function. Then took the inverse Fourier transform. Inverse Fourier transform of P0f is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity output Fourier transform P0f e raised to j 2 pi f TB df TB, that is a TB is written here, and then P0f replaced with this one h of f into p of f. That is equation number 1. Second, consider the input noise is white, and then the relationship between input PSD and output PSD is written here. Output PSD is equal to input PSD into transfer function square. From that, output power is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity output PSD df. PSD is power per unit bandwidth. So when you are integrating all that power, you will get the total power. That is this output power. So output power is integration of output PSD, but output PSD is same as input PSD into transfer function square. So we are able to write output noise power is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity PSD of input noise into transfer function square df. That is equation number 2. So signal to noise ratio is equal to, I just squared that equation number 1, P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square is equal to equation number 1 square divided by equation number 2. Now I am applying another result that is known as Shaw's inequality. So according to Shaw's inequality, modulus integral x of f y of f df square is less than or equal to integral modulus x of square df integral modulus y of f square df. Equal sign applies when x of f is equal to a constant k into y complex conjugate f, that is y star f. So when this condition is satisfied, instead of this inequality, equal sign can be used. Now with the help of this Shaw's inequality, the above expression can be simplified. For applying this result, what are the definition we are going to make here is, let x of f is equal to h of f. This is taken as x of f and this is taken as y of f. So x of f is this h of f and y of f is p of f into e raised to j 2 pi ftb. Now after that you can see, so the numerator will be integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of f y of f df square. It's like this only, but we need a modulus sign also. So I can include the modulus sign. The reason for that one is P0 TB is not an imaginary term, it's a real term. So if it is a real term, P0 TB square and modulus P0 TB square are same. Like a 2 square is 4, minus 2 square is 4. So if you are taking modulus 2 square, that is also 4. Modulus minus 2 square, that is also 4. Because for any real signal with modulus sign or without modulus sign, square result will be same. But if it is imaginary term like this, 2j square is equal to minus 4. But modulus 2j square is equal to plus 4. So we just want to verify that one, that quantity is a real quantity or imaginary quantity. If it is real quantity with modulus sign or without modulus sign, square result remains same. And you can see here P0 TB, that is the amplitude difference between that S1 of t and S2 of t. That's a real quantity. So due to that reason, with modulus sign, there is no difference. So I can include a modulus sign here. That is why I just included a modulus sign here. Modulus integral minus infinity to plus infinity h of f p of f e raised to j 2 pi f t df square. Same numerator. Only thing is modulus sign is included. Divided by same denominator. Now, applying the right hand side of Shaw's inequality, that is integral minus infinity to plus infinity modulus x of square df. So what is our x of f? That is h of f. So integral minus infinity to plus infinity modulus h of f square df into second part. That is integral minus infinity to plus infinity modulus y of square df. What is y of f? P of f e raised to j 2 pi ftb. Then what is modulus y of f? That is modulus p of f into modulus e raised to j 2 pi ftb. And modulus e raised to j 2 pi ftb is equal to 1. So that is why only modulus p f square df. And the sign between left hand side and right hand side is less than or equal to. That is why here less than or equal to. So signal to noise ratio is equal to P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square less than or equal to, due to this reason, inequality, less than or equal to modulus x of square df integral modulus y of square df upon same denominator, eta by 2 minus infinity to plus infinity modulus h of square df. So these two are going to be cancelled, and the answer is signal to noise ratio output is equal to P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square less than or equal to denominator eta by 2 can be written as 2 by eta. 2 by eta minus infinity to plus infinity modulus pf square df. So here we just only applied that Shor's inequality. Using that Shor's inequality, we just simplified our signal to noise ratio expression to 2 by eta minus infinity to plus infinity modulus pf square df. Transfer function of matched filter is equal to, now what is the transfer function matched filter? For that one again I just want to verify the previous slide. Now SNR output is less than or equal to some quantity like x less than or is equal to 3. So what is the maximum value of x? Maximum value of x is equal to 3. When you will get that maximum value? If the sign is equal sign. Similarly, SNR output is less than or is equal to this quantity. So what is the maximum SNR value? If the sign is equal sign. So when we will get equal sign? Answer is here. Equal sign applies when x of f is equal to k into y complex conjugate f. So if this condition is going to be satisfied, this sign will become equal sign. And if the sign is equal sign, what is the advantage? SNR output will become maximum. If SNR output is maximum, what is the name of the filter? Matched filter. That is a condition for matched filter. For matched filter, SNR output is always maximum. So SNR output can be made maximum if the sign is equal sign. The sign will become equal sign if y of f is equal to, condition is here, x of f is equal to k into y complex conjugate f. So I just applying the same condition for getting equal sign. What is our x of f? H of f. So if h of f is equal to k into y complex conjugate f. So k into p star f e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb. Complex conjugate of y of f. So complex conjugate of this is p complex conjugate f. Complex conjugate of this is e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb. So this sign will become equal sign if h of f is equal to k into p complex conjugate f e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb. That is an indication if the transfer function of the system is equal to k into p star f e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb, SNR output will become maximum. If SNR output will become maximum, the system is known as matched filter. So that is an indication that is the transfer function of the system. If the transfer function of the system is k into p star of e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb, then only SNR output will be maximum. That is the reason it is written here. Transfer function of the system is k p complex conjugate f e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb. And if this is a transfer function, the sign is always equal sign, not less than or equal to sign. So it will be equal. So once it is equal, it is always maximum. So SNR output of matched filter is equal to P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square max is equal to. Why it is writing maximum? Reason is here. P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square is less than or equal to this quantity. So what is the maximum value of this? Once the sign is equal sign. So that is why with the help of that equal sign, I am using that maximum here. So P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square max is equal to 2 by eta minus infinity to plus infinity modulus pf square df. This is SNR output of matched filter. That is one of our headings, and the second heading was transfer function matched filter. So result 3 and result 4 are the important result of this particular topic. We got the transfer function matched filter and SNR output of matched filter. Now with the help of this one, we can calculate the probability of error of matched filter. It's a white Gaussian noise, that is why it's a Gaussian probability distribution I am showing here. This is Gaussian probability distribution or normal probability distribution with mean m is equal to 0. X-axis noise, that is n0 TB, y-axis probability density function f of n0 TB. An error will result with probability half if n0 TB greater than or equal to p0 TB by 2. So this is clear from this example. So see the example written under note. We are transmitting 1 and 0 with two voltage levels, that is plus 6 voltage and plus 4 voltage. So the decision boundary will be 5 volt. So how to get that 5 volt? 6 plus 4 by 2, that is equal to 5. That's a decision boundary. So if any voltage greater than 5 should be considered as 1, any voltage less than 5 should be considered as 0. So decision boundary can be obtained after knowing that 6 and 4. And that 6 and 4 are S01 TB and S02 TB. S01 TB 6 voltage, S02 TB, that is after closing the switch, you will get 6 voltage and 4 voltage. So that is 6 and 4, take the mean, that will be the decision boundary. So this 4 can be received above 5 if the noise is greater than 1 volt. Similarly, 6 is going to be received less than 5 if the noise is -1 or more negative. That 1 or -1 can be obtained like this. If N0 TB greater than or equal to S01 TB minus S02 TB by 2, that is 6 minus 4 by 2. 6 minus 4 is equal to 2, 2 by 2 is equal to 1. If the noise is greater than or equal to 1 volt, then error will occur only for 0. If the noise is greater than or equal to 1, only for this case error will come. This case there is no error. 6 plus 1 is equal to 7 or 8 or 9, there is no error. So error will occur only for that logic 0, because that 4 will become 5 or more than 5. So once it is more than 5, that 0 is going to be received as 1. And with the addition of this noise voltage with respect to 6, there is no error. That is why if the noise is greater than or equal to 1 volt, error can occur with only half probability. Error will occur only for 0. Error won't occur for 1. Similarly, if the noise is less than or is equal to S02T minus S01T divided by 2, that is 4 minus 6 by 2. 4 minus 6 is equal to minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2 is equal to minus 1. If the noise is less than or equal to minus 1 voltage, and if that is going to be added with a 6 volt, then error will occur. But if it is going to be added with a 4 volt, there is no error. Suppose the noise voltage is minus 1.5. 4 plus minus 1.5. It will be 2.5. So 2.5 is still less than the decision boundary only. So there is no error. That is why if the noise is less than or is equal to minus 1 volt, error occur only for 1. And noise greater than or equal to 1, error occur only for 0. And that is the reason it is written here, an error will result with probability half. It's an important result here, probability half, if noise is greater than or equal to, according to our definition, S01 TB minus S02 TB is same as P0 TB. So P0 TB by 2, or if the noise is less than or is equal to minus P0 TB by 2. So this case error can occur with a half probability. This case also error can occur with a half probability. This range is written here. If the noise is greater than P0 TB by 2, error can occur with a probability half. This is that error area. If the noise is less than minus P0 TB by 2, error can occur with a probability half. If the noise is between these 2 points, error will never occur. So then how to calculate the probability of error? If you are integrating this probability density function, answer is 1. And for calculating probability of error, we should integrate this area plus this area divided by 2. What is the reason divided by 2? This area is not making error always. This is not making error always. This is making error with only half probability. So this area into half plus this area into half. Due to symmetry, these two areas are same. So area into half plus area into half is same as just one area. So probability of error is integral from this point to infinity of this density function. That is going to show in the next line. Probability of error is equal to integral P0 TB by 2 to infinity f of N0 TB dN0 TB. That is again integral P0 TB by 2 to infinity, substitution of Gaussian PDF. Gaussian PDF is showing here. Gaussian PDF f of x is equal to 1 by root 2 pi sigma square e raised to minus x minus m square upon 2 sigma square. And this case m is equal to 0, so that is why there is no m term, and the random variable x is N0 TB, and it is a output side, that is a sigma 0. So same result, 1 by root 2 pi sigma square, that is same as 1 by root 2 pi sigma 0 square, e raised to minus, instead of x it is n0 tb and m is equal to 0, that is only minus n0 tb square upon 2 sigma 0 square. Instead of dx it will be dn0 tb, because we are integrating with respect to the variable n0 tb. Now next requirement is this result should be written in terms of error function or complementary error function. So that is why I am showing what is error function or complementary error function. So that is written below that note section. Error function complementary of x is equal to 2 by root pi integral x to infinity e raised to minus u square du. That error function tables are available, and instead of calculating the probability value, what is the procedure is just get the answer in terms of error function or complementary error function, then go through the table. From the table answer can be written. For that one, our result should be converted into error function or complementary error function. If it is 0 to x, integration 0 to x, answer will be in terms of error function. If it is x to infinity, answer will be in terms of complementary error function. Here our result is x to infinity, that is the answer will come in terms of complementary error function. But for getting in terms of complementary error function, our requirement is e raised to minus u square. This should be u square. That is why u is defined as n0 tb upon root 2 sigma 0. U is defined. Then this term will become u square. That is why. So I am changing the variable. Instead of n0 tb, there is a new variable u. U is defined n0 tb upon root 2 sigma 0. So once you are changing the variable, then we should be able to find out dn0 tb. So du is equal to dn0 tb upon root 2 sigma 0. So dn0 tb is equal to du root 2 into sigma 0. Again, once you change the variable, new limit should be determined, and the new limits are for n0 tb. n0 tb is equal to infinity. Substitute n0 tb is equal to infinity. U is also infinity. Next, there is no d here actually, only n0 tb. If n0 tb is equal to infinity, u is also infinity. Next limit is n0 tb is equal to p0 tb by 2. Substitute that p0 tb by 2 here. p0 tb by 2 divided by root 2 sigma 0. So u will be p0 tb upon 2 into root 2 sigma 0. So we got the new limits for the variable u. So that new limits are written here. Integral p0 tb upon 2 root 2 sigma 0 to infinity e raised to minus u square dn0 tb is equal to root 2 sigma 0 du, that is written here root 2 sigma 0 du, and the denominator root 2 root pi sigma 0, root 2 root pi sigma 0. Sigma 0 sigma cancel, root 2 cancel, 1 by root pi outside. So 1 by root pi integral p0 tb upon 2 root 2 sigma 0 to infinity e raised to minus u square du. But our complementary error function format is 2 by root pi. So what we can do? Multiplied by 2 and divided by 2. So 1 by 2 into 2 by root pi. So that is written as 1 by 2 ERFC P0 TB upon root 2 sigma 0. That is same as half complementary error function. What is P0 TB? S01 dB minus S02 TB divided by 2 root 2 sigma 0. This is the proof. If S01 dB minus S02 TB can be increased, probability of error can be decreased. See the result here. Complementary error function of 0 is 1. Complementary error function of infinity is 0. So if x value increases, complementary error function value decreasing. So this is a proof that signal difference increases, probability of error decreases. If the difference is infinity, probability of error is 0. If the difference is equal to 0, probability of error will be maximum. That maximum probability of error is 0.5. So numerator is a signal quantity, denominator is a noise quantity. So signal to noise ratio increases, probability of error decreases. So the same result I just written in terms of square and square root, half complementary error function square root of previous term is squared. That 1 by 2 root 2, that is squared, that is 1 by 8 P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square. For matched filter, P0 square TB upon sigma 0 square is equal to 2 by eta minus infinity to plus infinity modulus Pf square df. Refer equation number 4 for this one. This we got from the previous slide. This is for matched filter P0 square dV upon sigma 0 square. Integral modulus Pf square df is the energy of P of t. This is according to Parseval's energy theorem. This is energy of P of t, and energy of P of t can be written like this also. Integral 0 to Tb P square t dt. That signal is existing only for Tb second. That is only from 0 to Tb. Integral 0 to Tb P square t dt. So we can write P0 square Tb upon sigma 0 square is equal to 2 by eta integral 0 to Tb P square t dt. So instead of this, I am using in time domain. Integral 0 to Tb. This is from minus infinity to plus infinity. If the signal is finite in time domain, frequency domain is always infinite. 0 to Tb P square t dt. But what is the definition of P of t? S1d minus S2t. So 2 by eta integral 0 to Tb S1d minus S2t square dt. Now I am showing two different cases. Case 1, S2t is equal to minus S1d, like our non-return to zero polar format, plus 2 voltage and minus 2 voltage. Second signal is minus of first signal. If S2t is equal to minus S1d, we can do the substitution here. S2t is equal to minus S1d. So this S2t will be minus S1. That is writing here 2 by eta. Here integral 0 to Tb S1 square t dt plus integral 0 to Tb S1 square t dt a minus b square, a square plus b square. And third term is 2 into S1d into S2t. But S2t is equal to minus S1d. So that is why it will be 2 into S1d into minus S1. That minus and minus, it will become plus. So plus 2 into integral 0 to Tb S1 square t dt. And that is same as 2 by eta. This is the energy of S1, that is Es. Energy of S1, Es. Energy of S1 into 2, that is 2 Es. So it will be 4 Es into 2, it will be finally 8 Es by 2. This is the energy of that one bit, 8 Es by eta. Then this 8 Es by eta we can substitute here for writing the probability of error. So probability of error matched filter is equal to half complementary error function. This 8 and this 8 cancel. Complementary error function square root of Es by eta. This can be written in terms of Q function, that is same as Q into square root of 2 Es by eta. Complementary error function and Q function relations we have studied under chapter 1. So this can be written in terms of Q function, Q into root of 2 Es by eta. I am just showing one more case, that is case 2. S1d and S2t are orthogonal signal. If it is orthogonal signal, energy of S1d and S2t are same, but the difference is the product integration result will be 0. So here when you are doing the product integration result will be 0. So due to that reason, we will get only Es and Es. This part will become 0 part. That is integral S1d S1d into S2t dt, that part will be 0. So that is why only 2 into Es plus Es, that is 2 Es into 2, it will be only 4 Es. 4 Es by eta. Then substitution of that 4 Es by eta here, it will be half complementary error function square root of Es by 2 eta. And equivalent Q function result is Q into root Es by eta. So when you are comparing these two signals, we can say that orthogonal signal is generating more probability of error compared to this signal. If this condition is satisfied, that signals are known as antipodal signal, P-O-D-A-L, antipodal signal. Antipodal signals are the best signal for minimizing the probability of error. And second set is orthogonal signal. Orthogonal signals, probability of error is more compared to antipodal signal. When you are coming to digital modulation, BPSK signals are antipodal signal, but orthogonal BFSK signals are orthogonal signal. So BPSK is better than BFSK signal. So there are two cases. First case is antipodal signal, like a non-return to zero polar format or Manchester format. And all these are coming under antipodal signal. Non-return to zero polar format, Manchester format, and in a modulation it is a PSK, BPSK signals, antipodal signal. And if it is orthogonal signal, another result, half complementary error function square root of ES by 2 eta. Thank you.